Ooh, ooh, I don't like it when it goes to sleep. And knowing it's half the battle.
If you don't know,
Now you know.
I'm an engineer.
I'm an engineer, and you can be one too. Ow.
Bless you.
Ow. Thank you. Ooh.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, it definitely needs to be. I forgot about, yeah. Okay. I was like, why are you rushing it? We gotta make some magic. That takes time. I ain't got no wand. Your Opinion Stinks opens the conversation on a hot button business topic.
And flips it on its head.
Hosted by a wellness coach
And a business coach.
we break down conventional business
While building entrepreneurs up for success. Who will you agree with?
Welcome to Your Opinion Stinks. I'm Tanisha.
And I'm Tim. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, hey, click the subscribe button and the alert button so that way you get all the goodness of the show. And if you're on iTunes or anywhere you listen to podcasts, don't forget that you can subscribe there and auto download so you can have it go directly to your device. So what are we talking about now?
Well, today we have bees in our bonnets.
I don't have a bonnet. I wear New Era. Got bees in my New Eras.
Oh, well, I have a bee in my bonnet and you have a bee in your cap. It's not as fun to say. And guess what it's about, y'all? Sort of. No. Facebook. Oh, Facebook.
For something that is serving so many people around the world, 1 point something billion people on this platform.
Oh, I think it's even more than that, isn't it? I can't remember.
I read it.
Definitely
some
in the
article.
billions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there comes a time when you can innovate and you can just obliterate. And we've been seeing the self-implosion coming down the pipe.
Well, I don't know. That feels a little extreme. I think we're
Call
ways
it
away from
what
that.
you want.
Implosion.
It's blowing up, and it's not blowing up in a good way.
I don't know about that.
Facebook is messing up.
Okay, how long they got?
Till what? Till it's gone?
Go on the record.
I will give Facebook 7 years.
No.
No more than 7.
No more than 7. June 2026. That's it, huh?
That will be the end of Facebook as we know it.
That's a really long lead time for such a strong statement a few seconds ago.
Hey, it took a while for MySpace to go away. It took a while for
That's true.
what was that other one? Google Plus to go away.
Oh yeah, please stop trying with that. Oh, poor Google Plus.
So we've hit the tipping point.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, so you may be wondering, well, why do we have bees in our bonnets and caps today with Facebook? Well, another show that Tim is involved in is I Love Nerd Life.
Yep. It is for the geeks and nerds in you, if you'd like to be a part of that. So Facebook has been really proactive in, for lack of a better term, cleaning up their platform. Things got really crazy with the 2016 election. People in Facebook going to Congress to testify and things like that, and people leaving the company and all that. In an effort for them to try to right the ship, they came up with something called community standards, which is now their kind of guidelines as to how they want people to use the platform. So I want to say it might have been Thursday of last week. We got something that we like to call Facebook slap. Similar to the Google slap of penguin, panda penguin. Yeah.
Panda.
So one of my administrators notified me that our posts weren't reaching out as far through our people as normal.
Yeah, your organic reach had tanked.
Yeah, we saw our numbers not necessarily do a gradual dip, but actually completely plummet to like ones and twos after hitting, I think our biggest one was like 50,000 people that one of our posts reached, maybe more than that.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So to see something that drastic happen in literally minutes,
That's frustrating.
it was shock. It was shock and awe. And so since then, we've been trying to work within the way Facebook is trying to operate today. And that has been a frustrating process with very little answers to a lot of questions that there doesn't seem to be a FAQ being made for.
Yeah, I've watched you deal with some frustrating things.
Yeah.
It's a little glitchy, and because they're like, you had an I Love Nerd Life Facebook page.
Yes. Something that was a really big initiative for Facebook for everyone to make pages.
Oh, back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, they're like, pages is great. And now they're like,
Communities. So they're
it's all about
focusing now on
communities
groups.
and groups. And I liked what you were saying earlier. And from what I've been reading up on this, because I mean, this is part of a lot of changes on Facebook. If you have any aspect of your business on Facebook, you should definitely read through. We'll be linking to a few resources in the episode, the show notes. Thank you. And if you're watching on YouTube, they're in the box below. And if you are listening, just go to youropinionstinks.com for episode 18. These links include a link to the Facebook community standards and a link to an article from their newsroom. Here's something. As I was trying to research this show, it was incredibly difficult for me I wanted to read the terms of service and the community standards. I wanted it. I could have Googled it. Probably would have taken me right there. I get that. But the fact that I went to facebook.com
Yeah.
and, and I'm automatically logged in, so it's showing me all the things it thinks I want to see. And the fact that I'm on my page on facebook.com wanting to read
Someone
these
that doesn't
documents.
participate in Facebook a lot, mind you.
Yeah, I'm not on there all that much. We've established on one of those episodes.
Yeah.
Like, I did the pancakes in the can, and that was it. I was out. So, it took me, I don't know, I mean, not forever, like 5 minutes to find some of the resource, find that, they have a newsroom. Mm-hmm. They have a dedicated website for the community standards. It would have been nice for that to be a little more obvious in the interface.
I agree.
Even if you're just in a very strategic way, because the average person isn't going to be like, terms of service change, click.
Yeah.
No, but something, just little sprinkles of some compelling bit of information that will get our attention and get us like, hey, reminder about this. Hey, this changed then, and this.
And that's what I was referring to earlier about
Yeah.
information. Being upfront and just letting people know over time how things are going. It's like it took the position of an old software company where they're like, user beware.
Well,
Rather than really putting it out in the forefront. This is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. This is why we're doing it. And I mean, if I get a notification as frequently as I do about other things, I would assume Facebook will want to, especially since I've had an account for so long, they'd want to let someone that's an old user like me or any other person aware of the
I can't
changes.
help but feel like that's a decision, though. Even what I'm talking about, like,
Well,
it's
absolutely, it will be.
because with all of the money companies like Facebook put into user experience and research and all of that,
Yeah.
there must be a reason why either they reserve that platform for some really strategic things that they really want to be a big deal, and the rest, and if you're really that interested, then you'll see it on the blogs and you're subscribed to the
Right.
newsroom and all of that.
Right.
But for the average users, we're not going to make a big deal about changes because we'd rather you just enjoy your experience more, and it gets reflected in the numbers. We see a spike in usership and we see fewer complaints and that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
They're acting so much like an autoresponder company, though. And that's my issue. There are no unsubscribe buttons in this platform. But yet they want you to unsubscribe. And I said, we're going to unsubscribe for you. That's my issue.
And another valid issue you had that I agreed with was it seems as though the community of page administrators
Yep.
was not ushered into transitioning to groups very well.
Absolutely. It's the whole thing of you're at a job and you have what you were paid to do. And then all of a sudden they completely change your scope. At 12 noon, you were one thing, and then at 12 noon you were something else. And they punish you for doing what you did before and then blame you for not being aware of the change.
And when you try to do what they want you to do, it's a little glitchy and not.
They still have you on the old systems for your old job. Well, they also put you in the system for the new job.
Yeah.
And they want you to do old functions. It's
At the same time,
broken.
This is broken's a strong word.
broken in the sense that that's why I was like, this has to be incremental. Like the whole thing of changing any type of system is if you're doing improvement, you do improvement in steps and you let the system work. And then when you see the fault in the system, you repair it and you add something new. You keep doing things in incremental steps. Like
they do
community
that.
standards.
They,
It wasn't overnight. I'm not saying that it was overnight.
yeah.
But I'm also not saying that this was an incremental thing.
You
Like,
wanted that same application in more areas.
I want to give credit to Simplecast. Because Simplecast has moved to Simplecast 2.0 for a while. But we are still on the original version of Simplecast.
Okay.
I want to say this to them because this is where I really like what they've done.
Okay.
Like during the whole process, they kept keeping me informed. They send me emails. Every time I logged in, there was a notice. They had a little pop-up chat. They would do press releases. They do a community blog. They did like the steps that I would assume Facebook would do as a bigger company to
At the
keep
same
me in the
time,
loop.
you're paying Simplecast.
At the same time, I'm paying Facebook. I'm also an advertiser.
Yeah.
So whatever changes they make affect how I give them money. If I give them money.
Yeah.
So if they tell me my old job is admin of a Facebook page, and then at 12 noon, my job is admin of a group that doesn't exist, there's a problem.
I think my hesitation is largely around we don't know.
They
are a
did do
huge
stuff.
machine.
Yes. And
we don't know all of the actions they took.
It's
behind
kind
this.
of like Black Mirror. And whatever the season is right now. One of the stories is about a company where the visionary grew the company so big, he just became a figurehead. and the company is just completely unruly. He can't do anything about it because it's just too big. It's basically Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg had a vision. He built a great company. It got really big. It now runs itself, and he's just there.
He's just there.
He shows up to Congress, and then he goes home.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because it reminds me of another point I wanted to make. Like, we can be frustrated at Facebook. I'm not telling us not to be.
Yeah.
Or our friends who work on this amazing project with you. I'm just, I can appreciate the fire, the constant fire and pressure that Facebook is under all the time from everyone.
2016 really put their feet to the fire.
Well, that and other things, like, you're talking lawsuits, you're talking being blamed for foreign interference in our elections, and being called up to Congress with Google and Twitter, and being told, and Apple, and being told to fix the First Amendment for us. It's really hard.
Do our job.
Making rules around this. So
do our job.
Could y'all hire like 400 million more people and just police the heck out of everything?
For the most part.
No? Then what's wrong with you?
Tariffs.
Tariffs.
All right. There's one thing I do want to say.
I mean, so that, and, then just users who are mad, like, I get too many notifications, or complain about random stuff, and just this onslaught of hate they must be getting all the time, and get it right. That can't be fun, and it's difficult to maneuver.
It's extremely difficult because all you can do is survey and then take the average of the answers to make decisions that affect the whole. Like I've said before, Facebook is Facebook. It's theirs. They can do what they want with it.
They can.
And I'm totally fine with them doing what they see fit for their vision and their purpose. This is a message for all of you entrepreneurs out there, though. Something that we preach, and you probably heard me at least say it at least once. Own your own platform. So the whole thing of us creating this community on Facebook is all great and dandy because the people are already there. We're just tapping into the faucet, getting our 1% of the people in. But the real fault, if we're looking at faults, is the fault of our own for not yet taking the steps of owning our own platform. Like
you were moving there.
Yeah, we're moving towards it.
It was a proof of concept thing. It was a ready audience. It was easy to plug in. I don't think there was any. There was risk that you took on,
and that's probably the better way of saying it. It was a In that, there's been tons of people who have built their businesses on these things that they don't own, and they get mad as if something happens to them.
Yeah,
like it was someone attacked me, and that's more so what we really want to get into on this is because for all of you out there, wherever you're building your businesses and such, it's great to dip your toe in something else. But when you dip your toe, you got to, nibble it, put it around and get the fish to nibble on it. And then when the fish attaches, you pull that fish out. Like, you can't stay in the platform and live in it. Because eventually something will either change or it will just simply go away like MySpace did. Like, people put all their music up into MySpace, and then one day MySpace just wasn't there.
Or you are using it very strategically. You're using it as a funnel, but one of many funnels.
Yeah, you got to bring people in different channels.
Yeah, it's not your only source of
leads
or
lead generation or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like that's the bigger thing right there, because even with doing a small project like what we were doing, there's a ton of people that we spent a lot of man hours to cultivate. And I can imagine someone who has a page of over 100,000 people on it, and then just one day, no one sees anything that they do.
Yeah.
And I think back to Panda Penguin. A few of my associates who completely lost their businesses virtually in minutes because that was the only way that they had people coming in. So ultimately, regardless of whatever Facebook decides to do with community standards, play within their guidelines, play within their rules. But remember, if your business is dependent on Facebook, then Facebook has the right as a CEO of their company to make a decision to your business as a COO.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Don't be a COO, be the CEO, you know, control your own business and don't solely put everything in one egg, in one basket, like a platform that you just do not control.
Yeah.
That was the big thing I wanted to put out.
Excellent advice.
The last thing I wanted to touch on with this is just the notion that this all comes from a place of appreciation, because for the people that we've been able to gather for this sub niche of geeks and nerds, they had a place where they felt safe. They had a place where they felt respected for their points of view, even though, you know, some things were a bit much. In the culture itself, there was an understanding that at the end of the day, even when people are raging out, that is mostly just fandom and nothing really personal. On the flip side of that, we now have to take a more active participatory role in what we do, how we do it, what we say, where we guide people, where we take people from, and take more ownership in the process rather than it being an active thing. Facebook is realizing this is a movement per se to building better communication, controlled communication. And we as entrepreneurs, unfortunately, we have to embrace it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something different. The last thing on that is, if you decide that you do want to use Facebook, I don't want this show to be a condemnation of the platform.
No. Yeah.
I just want there to be more of an open dialogue as to the changes that are happening, so then we all can grow into the next phase, and we don't lose momentum and feel like we've been punished, but rather we are being above board educated and proactive. I think that's the big bulk of things that I want people to kind of take away. Make sure you read these things, though.
Yeah.
And if there's groups that actually, you know, put this information into plain English, don't be afraid to join them and you know, be a part of the conversation.
And take personal responsibility for your internet life. Be proactive, not just in your business and how you're using Facebook, but also what are your personal settings? How much information are you putting on there about yourself and where you are and what you're doing? Do you really feel comfortable about that for you and your family, or you and your clients, or you and your children? It's just be more aware and take advantage of the tools that things like Facebook put on there to control who sees what of you. And, you know, just be more proactive. Yeah.
I mean, because otherwise Facebook's going to make the decision for you anyway. So,
yeah. All right. Let's wrap it up, Timothy.
All right. As always, thank you for listening to us ramble. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, hit the alert button, so that way you get notified of whenever we get a new show that goes up on iTunes or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Subscribe and have that auto download so you don't miss an episode. Listen to it on the train, listen to it in the car. Just listen. I am Tim.
I'm Tanisha, and remember, opinions are not facts. Do your research and have fun in the fight. Bye-bye.